That was a lot of pumpkins. Okay, I got them all unloaded. I would have just like left them in the trailer and let them ate out of the trailer. But I gotta haul 4 of these guys in tomorrow to the processor. So, and then when I leave the processor tomorrow, the processor's not crazy far off, it's kind of on the way. I'll be swinging in and get another truck bed and another trailer load full of pumpkins again. Tomorrow I'll probably get orange ones, but I know, I'm watching one of them try to look at this demo pumpkin I've got here set for us. So I am sure, and I apologize if the wind is making the audio terrible on this. It is kind of breezy, but it's fall around here. It's always breezy. So the I'm sure several people are wondering, like, why did I get just the small ones? If you saw that picture of the field, they had like the medium-sized orange ones. They had these medium-sized white ones. They had a bunch of small white ones. They had a bunch of the small orange ones, and then they had a bunch of the really big orange ones. So I didn't walk far enough over to get a big orange one. I should have, but I grabbed a medium orange one because it was nearby. First up, I'd have gone with the medium either way, but I figured since these ones already had all the pumpkin spice pulled out for Starbucks lattes, that they'd be a good option to go with, and leave some of the ones with the spice still in them out in the field. You can laugh now or not. I won't know unless you put it in the comments that you heard that. No, so I went with the white ones just because they were kind of straight down from where I was at with the truck and trailer already, and they seem to be in a pretty dense cluster. Tomorrow I'll probably do the medium-sized orange ones, but now beggars can't be choosers, okay? So if you're getting pumpkins in the fall for your livestock or whatever, most of the time people are going to give you the big jack-o'-lanterns, right? So that is what it is. You take the pumpkins and you feed it no matter what. Like, it is what it is. But if you have an option like I did here, an entire pumpkin patch, and you're trying to get the most bang for your buck, the most pumpkin and pumpkin seeds for your time, then go with the medium-sized ones. So here's a slightly larger medium-sized one. So we look at this, even on this medium-sized one, there is a lot of just, kind of carve it out for you here. Move the guts. That big string of gut does not want to go off. So that's a pretty, the walls on this one are pretty good because it was a medium, but you get those big jack-o'-lanterns, that make a great jack-o'-lantern. And you got a lot of empty space, okay? So compare that, which the other half is already being eaten, so hopefully we don't lose this half. Oh yeah, we're losing our other half, it's being eaten. To that, okay? That is solid. That is flesh, okay? And now I have to pick up a ton more of these, right? If I'm going that route. And that's soft and squishy. That's ripe. But, well, I need to pick probably 3 to 4 more of those up off the ground. That's a lot of airspace wasted in my truck bed. These are real dense, they'll pack down tighter. So if I have that option, because what you want is you're trying to get pumpkin, you're not trying to get air. So if all you can get are those big jack-o'-lanterns, then pumpkin is better than no pumpkin. But if you have the option, then of course go ahead and get as many of the smaller ones as you can instead of the bigger ones. But again, like I said, beggars can't be choosers. Get what you can get your hands on. So let's talk real quick about, I'm gonna put this down. I know me, and I'll just wave it around all over the place. It's probably not even safe that I put it right there, but so why do you want pumpkins in the first place, right? So pigs love them, right? So do chickens, so do goats, so do cows, so do horses, and even our dogs, our LGTs absolutely love them. They'll steal them from the pigs. So we go ahead and usually, if they're not with the pigs, we give them some on their own. They absolutely love them. But so you'll read about all over the place that pumpkin seeds are a natural dewormer, and there are 1 or 2 studies that say that they are, but you actually have to read into the study. And what they're saying is it's the pumpkin seed itself of 1 or 2 of the varieties, because even, you just get your garden variety pumpkins, there's several different species, and I forget which one it was. All of them had trace amounts. One had slightly higher amounts of that chemical. It was like cucurbit or something. But I'm just distracted watching them. They're gonna knock over my phone in. Nope, they're just gonna carry the pumpkin off. Okay, so anywho, it is a chemical in the seeds, but it's in such low quantities in the seeds that your pigs would need to eat literally tons of those seeds, okay? Which give tons. So if you give like 2 or 3 pumpkins to your pigs, you're not gonna get any worming benefit out of that. It's and they're not hard enough either to scrape the inside of their stomach linings like some people say that they do. Now, you may have some luck with that with acorns because of the holes, or walnuts because of the shells. Those may do some, but pumpkin seeds are really pretty soft when they're still in the pumpkin. You're not really gonna get any scraping action there. And unless you feed tons and tons, like honestly almost a trailer load to 1 or 2 pigs here, like you're not gonna get that chemical in a high enough concentration. They just couldn't eat enough for it to really make that big of a difference. But that said, any little, they're starting to shake over there, any little bit that you can feed them, and any little bit of anything that is a mild dewormer is go ahead and do it. You know, if it does do a little bit of help, then fine. But don't be like, oh, I worm with only pumpkin seeds, because that's not really gonna function, okay? But pumpkin seeds are a great source of fats and proteins, and the the actual flesh is really high in carbohydrates. So they're a great supplemental feed. Now, like, I'm not going to stop feeding them their normal grain ration. I'll dial back their grain ration a smidge for the week or so that they go through this round of pumpkins. They'll eat, and I said, I'm gonna take 4 of the big ones out of here tomorrow, but these 8 big ones and 5 smaller ones, they'll eat all of this within like 3-4 days, and then they're going to get that other truck bed load and trailer load. But then there's also all the other pigs to spread it between. They'll eat that and another. So like I'll get a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe worth of pumpkins that they'll just hog out on. And something to keep in mind and keep an eye out for. Hi. They're going to get the runs. Okay. Looks like we're still filming. That was one of the smaller feeders. We'll just rotate around. I'm looking more in the sun, but you're not now. So this drastic of a change in diet, because they're going to just hog out on these. I hope that I can lure 4 of them into the trailer tomorrow. Maybe we'll just come down here and talk with them. So your pigs are going to get the runs from this. If you feed this many pumpkins at one time, they're going to get the runs. What I would prefer to do is give them just a handful at a time, but because they needed to unload the trailer to be able to use the trailer again, just giving them all at once is just kind of the easiest thing right now. So the sows will get dosed out. I've unloaded a couple wheelbarrow loads up by the house, and so they'll just get 5 to 10 pumpkins a day each of these medium to small size ones. So dosing it out like that, they're not likely to get the runs if they've only got a couple of pumpkins per head per day, like 2 or 3. Even 10 is like, well, they may get the runs. But it's not that big of a deal as long as you make sure that they have nice, fresh, clean water to drink out of. It's not, you know, they're not getting sick from it. They're just eating so much of something that is so different in their diet. And thankfully, since ours are out on pasture, they're still getting plenty of fiber, so it'll firm back up pretty quick if it does. Hi. So, yeah. There you go. I would definitely recommend feeding pumpkins when you can get your hands on it. They are a great source. They are not really? They're not going to worm your pigs. Not in any quantity that's going to matter. Still use your ivermectin, but you know, use your ivermectin responsibly. We've talked about that in previous videos. Don't go just worming willy-nilly. Figure out which of your animals. I'm going to be getting a microscope so I can do some fecal tests to see who actually has a good worm load and who doesn't. But don't just ivermect like crazy. I'm moving my hand. But that's a whole nother, I've talked about that in a couple of the others. If you go to the actual ivermectin video or the We Got a New Sow and Quarantine video, we talk about that a lot. Yeah, there you go, folks. Get yourself a ton of pumpkins. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one out. Hi. Yeah, so thank you, Jeffrey Miller, for turning me on to County Line Farm for having all of these pumpkins available. And thank you, County Line Farm, for having all of these pumpkins available and giving them out at the end of the season. It is super appreciated. My pigs appreciate it. I'm sure I'll make a reel or two showing how much they appreciate it and letting them know. Thank you to our Patreon patrons. Your contributions are super, super appreciated. That's Hunter and Ashley Raymond. And then thank you to the rest of you watching this video. If you have made it this far, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps. One, it gets more people to see our videos, and it gets us a little bit closer to that monetization goal. So yeah, you guys have a good one.